Welcome to this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat Overview, the web show in which I review the top 3 answers for this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat questions. My name is Luis Oscar Maimi and I'm a HOOTSUITE certified professional, a HOOTSUITE solution partner, a HOOTSUITE app developer, and HOOTSUITE ambassador. This week on HOOTSUITE University Chat, the topic was Social Strategy for Better Content Marketing and Relationship with Michael Brito. So let's begin with the first question. The first question asked in HOOTSUITE University Chat was, how do you define social strategy and its key elements? The first answer that I picked was made by Teddy Conjetin with Twitter handle @TeddyMConjetin, and she is one of HOOTSUITE ambassadors, and she said, social strategy is the how we deliver valuable content and engage our audience in conversation. The second answer that I picked was made by Attar Afzal with Twitter handle @AttarAfzal, and he said, I define social strategy as how you want to represent yourself to the outside world. In other words, what should people think you as? And the third answer that I picked was made by Angela Tab Ingram with Twitter handle AngieGram, and she said, it's how brands want to be seen by their users/consumers while aligning with business objectives with best context in context. So those were the top 3 answers for question number 1 of this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat. Let's continue with the second question. The second question asked in HOOTSUITE University Chat was, what kind of metrics and information must you have on hand before developing your social strategy? The first answer that I picked was made by Michael Brito with Twitter handle @BritoPian, and he said, share of voice, topical share of voice, conversation gaps, influencer conversation, then reach, engagement, etc. The second answer that I picked was made by Jennifer Law with Twitter handle @JenLaw, and she said, key performance indicator, business goals and objective, current analytics on all social platforms, nice to know current content strategy. And the third answer that I picked was made by D. Carter with Twitter handle @DCarter, and she said, an understanding of your target audience, where the organization stands in terms of conversation and the goals of the organization. So those were the top 3 answers for the question number 2 of this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat. Let's continue with the third question. The third question asked in HOOTSUITE University Chat was, what is proactive and reactive content and how is it beneficial to social strategy? The first answer that I picked was made by Michael Brito with Twitter handle @BritoPian, and he said, proactive content is planned, reactive is based on a trending conversation that's relevant to the brand. The second answer that I picked was made by Kyla Karakushak with Twitter handle KylaK, and she said, taking frequently asked questions and providing answers through blog posts, providing answers before the customers ask. And the third answer that I picked was made by Francois Vener with Twitter handle Brand Sensation, and he is one of HOOTSUITE ambassadors, and he said, proactive content should be published at the right time. Reactive content should be posted as an answer. So those were the top 3 answers for question number 3 of this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat. Let's continue with the fourth question. The fourth question asked in HOOTSUITE University Chat was, could you explain the idea of transitioning between brand messaging to content narrative? The first answer that I picked was made by Teddy Conjetin with Twitter handle @TeddyMConjetin, and she is one of HOOTSUITE ambassadors, and she said, brand messaging is more about the brand, while content narrative is about the audience and engagement. The second answer that I picked was made by Lucid Fusion with Twitter handle @LucidFusion, and he said, ideally, brand messaging is best served as a subtle voice that drives content creation, not the basis of all content. And the third answer that I picked was made by Attar Afzal with Twitter handle @AttarAfzal, and he said, Content narrative is conveying a story and a situation that has the brand written in it. So those were the top 3 answers for question number 4 of this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat. Let's continue with the fifth question. The fifth and final question asked in HOOTSUITE University Chat was, any tip for small and medium businesses on how they can produce and publish timely high-quality content? The first answer that I picked was made by Carolina Joshovich with Twitter handle @barcarolka, and she said, find your internal content inspiration, talk with your team, create stories, think visual, focus on the little things and goals. The second answer that I picked was made by Enrico Gibertoni with Twitter handle @bosses, and he is one of HOOTSUITE ambassadors, and he said, use metrics to understand your audience behavior in order to understand their jargon, time to publish, habits, and emotion. And the third answer that I picked was made by Curiosa with Twitter handle @Curiosa, and she is one of HOOTSUITE ambassadors, and she said, know your audience, read a lot, be creative, be measurable, use HOOTSUITE to schedule your content. Those were the 5 questions discussed in this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat. Thank you for watching this week's HOOTSUITE University Chat overview video. I will publish this video weekly along with my advanced HOOTSUITE tutorials. So I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking this subscribe button here. And you can also follow me on my Twitter account, which is @HOOTSUITE, by clicking this button here. And you can also follow me on Google Plus by clicking this button here. And if you like, you can contact me directly by clicking this button here if you want to contact me to questions related to HOOTSUITE. So thank you very much for tuning in to this video, and see you next week.